Loneliness is not emptiness. It is the beginning of power. When everything around you starts to fall quiet, when messages stop coming, when laughter turns into echoes, when your circle begins to shrink, it is not life abandoning you. It is life refining you. Most people never reach greatness because they never learn to walk through silence. They crave noise, attention, validation, and comfort. But greatness only answers to solitude. There comes a time when your world collapses into stillness. The very people you trusted vanish without reason. The warmth that once surrounded you turns cold, and your mind begins to question everything. Why me? Why now? That question is not a curse. It is the invitation. The moment the universe isolates you, it is telling you that your training has begun, because no one becomes extraordinary while surrounded by mediocrity. You see, loneliness is the universe stripping away your illusions. It is cutting off every hand you once leaned on. It is taking away your distractions, your comfort, your emotional dependencies, and leaving you face to face with the only person who can save you, you. That confrontation terrifies most people. They cannot stand to look at themselves without masks, without noise, without applause. They escape through entertainment, through gossip, through shallow love. They run from silence, as if it were death. But you are being chosen to stand in that fire. The truth is, every empire begins in isolation. Every warrior trains in the shadows before the battlefield. Every philosopher, artist, athlete, and visionary has faced nights where they questioned their existence. The darkness is not your enemy. It is your forge. The silence is not empty. It is the sound of transformation. You must understand this. Solitude has a purpose. It is separating you from what you were, preparing you for what you must become. The reason people disappear from your life is not always betrayal. It is calibration. You are being elevated, and not everyone can breathe at this altitude. The universe clears your surroundings so you can hear yourself again. Loneliness will test you in ways that comfort never can. It will whisper lies in your ear. You are forgotten. You are unloved. You are wasting your life. But that voice is fear, not truth. The real truth hides beneath that fear. Every time you resist loneliness, you delay your evolution. Every time you embrace it, you expand your power. Think about it. How can you command others if you cannot command your own mind? How can you lead a tribe if you cannot lead yourself through darkness? The greatest battles are not fought against enemies outside, but against the weakness within. Loneliness is not the battlefield. It is the boot camp. It is where you learn patience, focus, and self-respect. While the world sleeps, you build. While others waste their time chasing approval, you learn to operate without it. You begin to move silently, think deeply, and work relentlessly. You no longer chase attention because your work speaks louder than your presence. That is when loneliness turns from pain into power. You stop begging for company and start creating legacy. You will notice a shift inside you. The things that once excited you will lose meaning. The people who once impressed you will seem small. You will stop craving conversation and start craving progress. You will start feeling an inner fire that others cannot understand. They will call you cold, distant, arrogant, but they will not see that you are simply evolving. This is the stage where mediocrity dies. It is the rebirth of the individual. You are not meant to fit in. You are meant to stand alone until your presence becomes undeniable. Loneliness is that silent period before recognition. The time where no one claps for you but your work demands your full heart anyway. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it breaks you, but the breaking is the making. The pain you feel in this silence is your soul stretching into its next form. You are not losing people, you are losing layers. You are shedding the version of yourself that relied on others for validation. You are stepping into a form of self that stands unshaken by absence. So when the loneliness deepens, smile. It means the fire is burning. It means you are no longer seeking safety. You are building strength. You are becoming immune to distraction, immune to rejection, immune to fear. This silence is not empty. It is sacred. It is where you begin to understand who you really are, without the noise of the world telling you what to be. The next time you feel isolated, remember no great story ever began in comfort. Every champion was once an outcast. Every success story began with silence. And every powerful soul was once broken alone before they stood unbreakable before the world. The silence you fear is the birthplace of everything you desire. Stay there. Endure it. Because when you rise again, you will not need noise. You will be the storm. Loneliness is not your punishment. It is your purification. When you reach the point where the silence feels unbearable, that is when the transformation truly begins. The world has made you believe that isolation means failure, that being alone means being broken, but they are wrong. The truth is, the deeper your isolation, the sharper your vision becomes, because when the noise disappears, your mind begins to see the truth that others spend their whole lives avoiding. This is where most people quit. They try to fill their loneliness with company that dilutes them. They cling to people who keep them weak. They drown their purpose in shallow comfort. But those who survive this stage, who stay when everything in them screams to escape, those are the ones who rise, because loneliness teaches the discipline of patience. It teaches you how to wait for no one. It teaches you how to build without applause, how to trust yourself when no one believes in you, how to breathe when the world suffocates you. Greatness requires a certain kind of madness, the madness of sitting alone with your thoughts when everyone else is chasing noise. The madness of creating in the dark while others seek validation. The madness of sacrificing company for clarity. That madness is your air. It is the fire that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. The world calls it loneliness. You will one day call it alignment. In this silence you will hear voices, the ghosts of your past, the regrets of your choices, the fear of being forgotten. They will whisper that you are wasting your life, that you have lost direction, that you will never be seen again. But those whispers are lies. They are echoes of the weak version of you trying to pull you back into comfort. Silence is not the enemy. The old you is, and every time you resist the urge to escape your solitude, you destroy that weaker version of yourself. Imagine a sword being forged. Before it becomes sharp, it must face the fire, be hammered, bent, and shaped. That is what loneliness is doing to you. It is burning away the impurities of distraction, shaping you into something unstoppable. The pain you feel is not punishment. It is purification. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You will begin to notice something powerful. The things that used to hurt you will lose their power. The rejection, the abandonment, the silence, they will stop feeling like wounds and start feeling like fuel. The more you sit with your loneliness, the stronger you become, because the mind that learns to live without company becomes unbreakable. Most people chase belonging because they have never learned to belong to themselves. They spend their lives seeking validation from people who are lost themselves. But once you begin to enjoy your own presence, you become untouchable. No rejection can shake you, no absence can destroy you, because your peace no longer depends on others. It is built from within. This stage of life will test every part of you. You will doubt your worth. You will question your path. You will feel like you are fading. But remember this: What feels like fading is actually transformation. The butterfly must disappear inside the cocoon before it can fly. The lion must walk alone before it can rule. You are not being forgotten. You are being rebuilt. It is in loneliness that you begin to understand real power. The power of self-control, of emotional discipline, of silent progress. You stop reacting to everything. You stop begging for attention. You stop explaining yourself. You realize that silence speaks louder than words. Every lonely night, every empty day, every quiet moment, it is building your endurance. And when you emerge from this phase, you will not need to prove your strength. It will be written in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you exist. You will see how small the world's problems really are. You will no longer waste energy chasing approval or reacting to hate. You will no longer fear being misunderstood, because you will finally understand that loneliness was never about losing people, it was about finding yourself. The universe had to take everything away from you so you could see what truly matters. You were never meant to stay in the crowd. You were meant to rise above it, and every moment of loneliness is proof that you are being prepared for a higher purpose. You are learning how to think differently, act differently, move differently. You are learning how to carry your own fire. Do not try to rush this stage. It is sacred. It is where you grow roots, so deep that no storm can ever uproot you again. The world might not see you now, but when it does, it will not understand how you endured. And you will not need to explain, because only those who have been through the fire understand what it means to stand alone and still burn bright. So stay alone, stay focused, stay silent. The ones who laugh at your solitude today will one day bow to the power it gave you, because loneliness is not where your story ends. It is where your empire begins. There will come a moment when the loneliness that once felt unbearable begins to feel familiar. You will wake up one morning and realize that you are no longer afraid of silence. You will feel the shift. The fear is gone. The restlessness is gone. The hunger for validation is gone. What remains is stillness, the kind of stillness that feels powerful, not empty. You will understand that loneliness was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. In this stage, your energy changes. You stop chasing people and people start noticing you. You stop trying to be seen and your silence becomes magnetic. The same world that ignored you begins to wonder where your peace comes from. That is the paradox of solitude. The more you embrace it, the stronger your presence becomes, because true power does not. It radiates. But do not be deceived. This peace did not come cheap. It was paid for in sleepless nights, in quiet tears, in days when you almost gave up. It was earned through discipline, through self-control, through surviving what others could not. That is what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Loneliness was your tuition fee for wisdom, and now you carry something inside you that no one can take away. Resilience. You begin to see the world differently. You see how people waste years seeking approval, trading authenticity for attention, numbing their pain with noise. You see how they fear silence, because silence exposes truth. But you no longer envy their laughter or their company. You pity it, because you have seen the other side. You have seen how silence sharpens the mind and cleanses the soul. You now understand that the greatest victories in life are invisible. They happen when no one is watching. They happen when you resist the urge to quit, when you endure rejection without bitterness, when you continue walking even when the path disappears. That is the kind of strength loneliness teaches. Quiet, relentless, indestructible. Every second you spent alone was an investment. Every tear watered your discipline. Every long night carved out your patience. Every unanswered call strengthened your independence. You were not abandoned. You were being prepared. Because destiny does not trust the untested. It only crowns those who can survive without a crown. Soon, you will start to see signs. Opportunities will begin to appear out of nowhere. People who once ignored you will seek your presence. Doors that were locked will quietly open, but by then, you will not be desperate to enter. You will have learned that you do not need to chase doors. Doors open when you are ready. You will realize something profound. Solitude was never against you. It was the greatest ally you ever had. It taught you to listen to your intuition, to respect your boundaries, to build your peace from within. It taught you that being alone is not loneliness. It is leadership. It is the highest form of discipline because it means you have stopped depending on others to define you. The people who once called you distant will now call you mysterious. The same world that mocked your silence will one day quote your words. That is how the cycle works. First they doubt you, then they observe you, then they imitate you. But by the time they reach where you are, you will already be gone too far ahead, too deep in purpose to ever be caught again. This is the moment when loneliness turns into mastery. You start to operate on a higher frequency. Your decisions become sharper. Your emotions become controlled. Your goals become sacred. You move like a storm, quiet, precise, unstoppable. Because now you are no longer chasing anything. You have become the source. Remember this. Loneliness is the tax that the universe charges for authenticity. The more original your path, the fewer people can walk it with you. Most will fall away, not because they are bad, but because they are not built for this altitude. Do not resent them. Bless them. Let them stay in the comfort they choose.
You were built for something different. The day you stop fearing solitude is the day you become powerful beyond measure. Because when you are no longer afraid to lose anyone, you become the kind of person no one can afford to lose. That is the paradox of power. It comes when you stop chasing it. The more you embrace your aloneness, the more unstoppable you become. So use this silence, guard it, respect it, because one day when the world finally recognizes your strength, you will look back at this chapter and smile. You will realize that every tear, every empty night, every unanswered prayer, it all had purpose. Loneliness was never the enemy. It was the secret training ground for greatness. You were not buried. You were planted. And now it is time to grow. Watch the next video to keep sharpening your mind for greatness.